Hey everyone, Rob from Southgate Media Group here. Before we get started with this podcast, we have a quick message. If this is your first time checking out the show, we love that you found us and we really hope you enjoy it. What we have to say is for the subscribers, if you enjoy our shows, would you please donate to help keep these going? We don't want to have to put traditional ads on these shows, but this does cost money, so we really do rely heavily on donations. To make a donation to the show, please go to our website, www.southgatemediagroup.com. Go to the page for the show, and in the upper right-hand corner is a donate button. It takes you right to PayPal, and you can donate whatever amount you want. Thanks a lot for listening, everybody. And now, on with the show.
Hey, Primatech employees, welcome back to the Primatech Files, a Southgate Media Group podcast dedicated to the show Hiro, as well as its upcoming revival series, Heroes Reborn. I'm Lilith, and on the hunt for specials with me, participating as one of them is...
It's me, it's Ricky. Hey, guys.
Up for discussion today is episode 302, The Butterfly Effect. As you remember in the previous episode, this was a two-part special for the season 3 premiere. It aired back-to-back with 301, The Second Coming. I find this to be a slightly better episode, in my personal opinion.
Yeah, I kind of agree with that.
So yeah, let's just get on down to the recap. The original air date for this one is also September 22nd, 2008. The writer was Tim Kring, and it was directed by Greg Extreme Close-Up and Panning Beeman. What about the synopsis, Ricky?
Scylla confronts Elle at the company, and 12 villains escape in the ensuing battle. Meanwhile, Claire finds out more about her ability, and Ando travels with Hiro to Paris in pursuit of a speedster named Daphne Millbrook.
Oh, the bro TP's taking a romantic road trip.
I know,
yes!
right?
But not really.
They're not really taking a romantic... They're going to a freshly dressed set with a painted background of the Eiffel Tower in one of the windows, so yeah.
Oh my god, oh man, oh heroes. Major players and plot points. Scylla goes to Primatech and collects another ability from Bob. Dun dun dun.
Oh, Bob.
Tracy's power is revealed as a reporter threatens her reputation. Don't call her an ice queen. Angela takes control of the company. Finally, some competence can go down, but not really. Nathan takes on Tracy's offer. And Elle's life falls apart accidentally causes the level 5 prisoners to escape. Meanwhile, Mohinder experiences the side effects of his newfound ability as he and Maya begin some bomb chicka want want time.
Is that what the side effects are of his ability? Just Maya? Sorry. No, anyway.
No, dude, I'm telling you, he shouldn't have had sex with Maya and his power wouldn't have went wonky. It is it's like power specials STD or something. I'm just saying. Anyway, Claire is also surprised as her biological mother returns. No comment. Oh, look at the pretty flames. Look at them dance.
Some people are like tropes of characters and some people like have gimmicks. Hers is just like literally just standing there, putting your hand out, turning upside down. Oh, there's fire in it. Every time
look at the fire burning her eye.
Yeah.
Anyway, we got some important people, places, and things to talk about. We learned the full extent of Angela's power, which is precognitive dreaming.
Yes.
We meet some graphic novel characters that Scylla, of course, kills. They were named Gael Cruz and Bianca Carina. We meet 3 important level 5 escapees. Well, 4, technically.
Yes.
Flint Gordon Jr., Jesse, the German, Eric Doyle, and Baron Samedi.
And by that we mean Jesse and the German, not Jesse the German.
Oh, Pinky and the Brain. Oh, sorry. And Usutu, who is a wandering shaman in the desert sands of Africa.
And Lilith's favorite character ever.
If he wouldn't have been, we'll get to it, but yeah, there's issues with this character, man.
Yes. Shall we start off with company stuff? So we'll start off with Bob, then go on to level 5, then go on to Angela, yeah? Because that kind of all makes sense. So, like, we start off with Bob basically doing his usual Bob things of chastising Elle and making her feel worthless. And, it's the last thing we'll kind of see of him. Just sitting very straight in his chair. Bless poor Bob. I think much like...
outside of the graphic novel
Yeah.
viewpoints.
I suppose, yeah. But I think it's kind of a disservice of what they did to him. It's kind of like what they were doing with Mahinda at this point. They kind of have just left him to the background, and you know, they obviously had nothing else to do with him, and they couldn't really do anything else with him, as you'll find out in the trivia. But yeah, he was like, probably him and Mahinda were like quite good characters in season 2, and in season 3 they kind of go on a downward spiral.
Yeah. It was kind of messed up because they're watching the feed of Bianca, Karina, and Gael Cruz like getting murdered in an
Yes.
attempt to take Siler down, and then like the feed is cut, and then like later like Elle comes in and she sees his dead body, and like I don't know, I feel like something snapped in Elle at that moment. Like, I'm free. Like, she never really seemed that happy, that sad about it.
Yeah, and also I think she's obviously feeling bad about her dad, but yeah, I get the kind of thing that you're saying, that she's thinking she's free and she kind of can do what she wants. And the first thing she does is she goes to what could have been a better father figure to her in Noah, and it's kind of like a callback to like season 2, where she goes to Noah, who's already doing his great escaping thing in season 2, and she gets stopped by Bob when he's about to reveal stuff to her. By that I mean like information, not like his penis. But yeah. But
HRG may be many things, but he has never been #raped.
And then yeah, so she enlists Noah's help whilst he's great escaping again to try and get rid of Siler.
Yeah.
And that goes well. So the level 5 escape kind of thing happens, and I kind of like it because that's the kind of starting point to this whole villains kind of aspect to the show, or what we thought would be the villains aspect of the show. And obviously it's done because Elle's trying to do the right thing and get Siler, but you know, obviously you can't at this moment because he has Claire's ability, and she stops him. But I also like the fact that Noah has the wherewithal to kind of put Siler in one of the cages, so to speak, and then run off.
That's really all you can say. Is like these people escape, and then later the group arrives at the gas station, where the German and the other take their time murdering the other like customers. The German beats him to death, and then like Jesse goes, who is actually Peter,
is just
about
watching, yeah.
And then the German just shrugs. He's like, they're just having a little fun.
I know, and
we see his power.
Yeah, just by opening the doors. But Flint, for some reason, is in a gas station using his power of pyrokinesis, which is not the best idea. And
well, look at that family tree.
I know, right? But it kind of sets up what Peter has to do. He has to stay with this kind of group of people because he has to make sure that they don't hurt anyone else. All the while watching them hurt people in front of him. But yeah, it's
they're not doing a damn thing. It's just like, Peter, you should have just went home.
Yes.
Mother would have believed you. Your brother would have believed you. Just go home.
Speaking of mothers, one of our favourite mothers, Mama Petrelli, Christine Rose, who is now a series regular in the show, has been bumped to company CEO, I guess, and she's in charge of the...
Head bitch in charge.
I know,
just
right?
say it.
And her first kind of official business is firing Elle, but at the same time...
Throwing her out onto the street.
I know, right?
With nothing.
But she kind of offers up a bit of an unknown tidbit, which is basically that the only reason Elle was kept around at the company was at Bob's insistence. So obviously Bob did care for her. He just had a really weird way of showing it. So I thought that was a nice little aside to it being added in at the end. So yeah.
But honestly, if he really wanted what was best for Elle, shouldn't he have had like the Haitian mind wiper and have them give her like Haitian pills and sent her off to an adoptive family that would love her and give her a normal life?
Yeah, but he obviously wanted to keep her around because it's his daughter.
No, for a whipping post.
Yeah.
That's just my personal opinion about Bob.
Maybe. So. Yeah, I guess.
I don't see the good in anyone, damn it. You should
Something else about the escape that I wanted to bring up was it's kind of made all the more intense by having who we know as Peter at this point shouting like, "Siler, stop it!" And it kind of adds to the tension of like, you know, the escape happening and him just like running off.
Oh, God. Like, bless Francis Capra, who I've been in love with since Veronica Mars. And it's like kind of a bummer that he and Kristen Bell didn't get like at least one scene together. Right?
Yeah, I guess. I also think it's a great disservice to him in the fact that, you know, we only really see him for like a little bit. We don't like most of the rest of the episodes are like from Peter's point of view. I just thought that was a bit of a not a cop out, but I just thought that was a bit like a kick in the face essentially, because you've essentially got two Peters running about at this point. But anyway, what are you gonna do?
Yeah, what are you gonna do? Heroes logic fail once again.
Hashtag what you gonna do?
Eat a cookie. Have a drink. So yeah, I love that Angela is gonna try to bring some order and competence back into the company. I was really excited for this. I was excited to see her name as a series regular, and I was like, it's about damn time. Maybe we'll get some answers. And boy, do we get answers from Mama Petrelli down the line.
I know, right? Oh, and she also hires back. Well, not really hires, but Noah comes back, doesn't he, in this episode? So yeah. I kind of compare it to that graphic novel, Normal Lives, where it's that in between season 1 and season 2 where they're going to Costa Verde and he's found like one of the kind of villains that he's known of called Marcus the Crumpling Man. And instead of just like leaving it, he has to carry on helping like the world, quote unquote. And that's basically what's happened here. Even though he's really free of the company at this moment, he knows that he's still got his job to do, putting these people back in level 5, and even though he knows that it probably won't end well for him going back to the company, he has to, because he has to do what he does best.
Cop out. I mean, it makes sense later on when we get all of his backstory revealed in season 4, but like at this point it's like you want your family to be normal, you want them to be safe, but you are such a hypocrite that, like, I don't know, at times it's just really frustrating. Like, HRG is, like, definitely one of my top 3 favorite characters in Heroes. He's very complex, multi-layered, multifaceted, but sometimes he just pisses me off. And right now he is pissing me off. But then we wouldn't really have a story. So, I mean, I get it. I just wanted them to be happy for, like, one damn minute.
They're never going to be happy.
I know.
That's good.
So, yeah.
What should we move on to next?
Let's talk about Hiro, Ando, and Daphne.
Yeah.
I guess. They track her down in Paris. And there's a little bit of backstory that you probably need to know about Daphne from Our Lady of What is it?
Our Lady of Accelerated Speed, I think, or something. Blessed Acceleration.
Yeah. There's part 1 and part 2, and it gives them some backstory. Because you see the Mona Lisa in her apartment. It's where the formula is hidden. And so that's kind of like a wink to the people that read the graphic novels. They meet up with her because he like hired these detectives, and one of the Tokyo detectives actually tracked her down. And so they go. He actually takes Ando, but believe me, he wanted to waffle on the decision.
Yeah.
Because of the previous episode. So it's just like, oh.
It's I think I've talked about this before, but it's a nice little kind of battle of kind of class at this point, because you've got the kind of upper class kind of sheltered man-child in Hiro, who just is very straight down the line and very, like, what is the word? Not narrow-minded, but, like, he stands to his convictions and what is good and what is right, whereas you've got the working-class kind of character of Daphne, who's had to work for everything or use her powers to gain everything. They kind of, obviously, they will butt heads, and I really like that kind of aspect about it.
Well, yeah, and more importantly, I feel like they kind of, it was a misnomer or whatever, because they like steal her 12th grade medal for the 100-yard dash.
Yeah.
I feel like wait, how old is Daphne? I mean, do you know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
we never really
hammered
that out.
Yeah.
It just annoyed me. But then that becomes kind of a MacGuffin, because he places the tracking device. Like this is like the smartest thing Hero's done besides put trackers in him and Ando. Spoiler alert. So, yeah. So like she almost like she cuts Ando and everything, and then he like backs down and lets her go with the formula and the medal.
And do you think that there was a point where Hiro was going to let it happen?
You could see it in his eyes.
Yeah. He kind of thought about it. He had to think about it for like a split second. He had to stop time and think about it a bit more, yeah.
Little Jeopardy music, dude.
Yeah.
So yeah, but like, yeah, that was like the smartest Hero's been in a long time, and I appreciated that.
Yeah.
So that's enough of those 3, because that I'm telling you, Daphne and Hiro, like I could have seen her easily being a love interest for him, and I was tentative about it, but it would have made a lot more sense for the character.
Yes.
So, like, I just get so exhausted with these three because it's like she literally is coming in between Hiro and Ando on top of everything she's going through. So I just don't appreciate it.
Next up, we can quickly, I guess, talk about Tracy and the fact that you shouldn't call her an ice queen. I thought that was probably one of the cheesiest things in this episode, where her powers activate when you call her an ice queen. So, yeah.
That was your fan wanking theory.
Yeah.
So Tracy makes a suggestion to Malden for Nathan to serve as senator of the state of New York. On her way to her car, a reporter stalks her with images from LasVegasNikki.com. And I'm like, how could she be in two places at once?
Yeah.
Wow. Anyway, the reporter informs her that he will make an article about her, but she denies that is her. However, the reporter's sources claim otherwise, and she, like, just kind of blows it off and gets away. Then she goes to Nathan's hospital room, and he thinks that Tracy is Nikki, and so Tracy gets all confused. And she's like, well, enough of all that. We want you to be senator. Here's my phone number. And he's like, later, like, after a while, he accepts it on the condition that she be on his staff, and I'm like, why? The reporter returns, this time with the DVD of Jessica.
Yeah.
Oh, they're just going to milk the hell out of that. Having sex with Nathan at the Corinthian. She gets so angry at the reporter that her freezing ability manifests and she accidentally kills him. And of course, in shock and awe, runs away off into the sunset.
Yes. And we will deal with
her. She will
her.
be seen again.
Yes. We'll deal with her next episode. But yes, that's all that really can be said about her.
Let's talk about Usutu. I have to get this off my chest.
Okay. Go on then.
So, okay. He's this wandering shaman in the deserts of Africa, right? Unknown part of Africa. Africa is not a country. It is a continent. But what the frick ever. He claims that he's a prophet and that he had visions his whole entire life of Matt Parkman. Matt Parkman is his personal savior, guys. This man was doomed to be lunch eventually. So yeah, like we meet him briefly in this episode as Matt is teleported to the continent of Africa after presumably future Peter sent him there. Why? We still don't really know. Like it was just weird. So yeah, the dude gives him some water and he's like, hey, yo, you got to do a spirit walk. And he's like, can I use your cell phone? And he's like,
better use
not getting service. Yeah. He should have gone with Sprint, which of course was one of the official sponsors. Yeah. Almost all the phones on the show were Sprint.
Yeah.
So I thought that was kind of funny. That's all we really have for him right now. Oh, apparently they're supposed to be in Botswana, but they never really say that.
Yeah, it's kind of like somewhere in Mexico.
His nickname is Mr. African Isaac, which I hate. Just enough said.
Yeah.
Enough said. I've said it before, and I'll just say it again. This is like the worst magical Negro like trope imagined.
Yeah.
Like I just can't with this.
And the last time we saw this guy, whoever plays him, I can't remember his name, but the last time we saw him was in one of the unaired pilots. He played one of Amid, who was the Ted Spray character before Ted. He played his terrorist cell leader. So, yeah.
Oh, brown people and their terrorists.
Exactly. If they're not terrorists, they're shamans, so yeah.
Exactly. The guy's name is Nateri Guma Maboho Mwine.
Yes, he has 4 names. I remember that much, yeah.
So, yeah, there you go. Actors gotta eat, man.
Yep.
So, future Peter goes to visit recovering Nathan or whatever, and he apologizes as he drifts off to sleep. And then, like, Mama Petrelli shows up, and she's like, who are you, and what have you done with my son? I dreamed you were coming. Just go back to the hell wherever you came from and give my son back. And she's like, what'd you do with my son? And he's like, oh, don't worry. He's somewhere safe. And I'm like, I don't think that he is. Not at all. I love that scene.
I like the fact that she knows it's not her son. I don't know, it's more than likely because of her power, but at the same time, it kind of reminds me of Micah not knowing who his mother is at all times. So yeah.
Not the mama.
Yeah, exactly.
I think that about does it. That covers everybody. Other than Nathan, he gets the reveal from a nurse because he's playing chess with Linderman. She walks in and she asks him why he's playing chess by himself, and it's like, I'm going crazy, but I'm going to keep it to myself because crazy people don't know that they're crazy, and I'm questioning whether I'm crazy, so I can't possibly be crazy, right?
Yeah. And he's also a little bit crazy because he's suddenly spouting, like reading from the Bible and very, very religious. So
Out of
yes.
nowhere, yeah.
Yes.
I was like, tell me it's a brain tumor.
Yeah.
Spoiler alert for those of us that like Joan of Arcadia. Haven't watched that series all the way through. Let's get into the review. Who was your favorite character in this episode?
I am probably going to go with HRG. He's a badass, as per usual. Like, it's just like his acting in this is great because the look on his face when he shoots Sylar and he gets back up, and yeah, it's just really weird how, like, he can take all this abuse from Sylar, like being thrown across the room when other people, like, die from it. He's obviously able to survive it because, you know, he's HRG.
Well, he does have Claire's blood in him.
Oh,
Maybe
yeah.
that's a lingering side effect.
Maybe. But yeah, just him having to come back to the company and doing the right thing and trying to get all these people back. I really admire that because I don't know if I could have done that.
Agreed. But, you know, I gotta go with Mama Petrelli. She's
Oh.
in charge of the company. She's throwing Elle out on her butt. And
she's a series regular.
I know. She's taking names and kicking butt, and I love it. She's cuffing up future Peter by the shoulders, like literally got him off the ground there.
Yeah. So I'm going to have to go with Mama Petrelli and future Peter for best character interaction because obviously, you know, she tells him what's what and obviously eventually he has to listen. But, you know, that's obviously where the name of the episode comes from because she tells him that, you know, by him coming back in time and shooting Nathan and telling Claire not to go help her father, that's the reason why Sylar was able to get her. So yeah, the butterfly effect.
So I think my favorite character interactions are Ando, Hiro, and Daphne just because it's interesting to see how just one thing can throw a wrench into the epic bro TP that is Ando and Hiro.
Mm.
Hondo! I've dubbed it Hondo. Deal with it.
So, did you say it was your best scene?
Hands down, Mama Petrelli just yoking up future Peter.
Yeah.
I just love that scene so much.
I'm gonna totally agree with you on that one. Best line?
We kind of didn't talk about Claire getting hit by the train, but I don't care.
Yeah.
I really don't care. Future Peter, what are you doing? Claire, what does it look like, huh? Trying to get hit by a train.
I'm going to go with, my name is Sylar, and you are not my mother, but I am, dear. I am. So yeah, we've obviously got to bring up the fact that this is the episode where she says she has the reveal that Sylar is her adopted son. Like, she gave Sylar up for adoption, and you can just see Mama Petrelli just, like, manipulating everyone around her. And
but then you can't, if you're going to go with that cheese fest, then you got to go, hello, Noah, did you miss me? Oh, Sylar. You can always count on Sylar for some cheese-tastic stuff. You have a specific moment that you love out of this?
You say yours first, so I can have time to think about it.
It's the nurse's face where she walks in on Nathan playing chess by himself, and she's like, okay, crazy religious man. Definitely taking this guy off my rounds list.
I'm going to go...
And it's like the screen cap on Wiki, too, where it's just like, she's just got the face of disgust.
I'm going to go with Sylar with the gun and just saying, this is something your dad used to have, and turns it into the golden gun. I really like that because it's a little, I don't know, it's obvious, I think it's a little James Bond reference, but I really like it. And, you know, it's just him using Bob's ability just to taunt Elle.
Yeah. So what are some of your highlights? Or lowlights? Or
my low light is going to be Claire for the whole episode and whiny me Claire. But I can understand why she's whiny me, because obviously what happened to her was really traumatic, and it's obvious she's not dealing with it in the best kind of way. But it's just the fact that, you know, if I had that kind of power, I would be absolutely loving it. But, you know, she just seems so whiny about it, and I think that's what kind of makes her annoying at some points, because, like, as a viewer and as a comic book fan, like, if you had these powers, you would absolutely love it. And it just is that kind of, you know, you've seen someone have the power and they're not using it to their fullest potential, or they're using it to be whiny about it. I think that's that kind of...
Not to mention that she's beautiful and she has a family that will literally die for her.
Yes. Claire's not one of my favourites, but yeah.
Yeah, I agree about her power. I mean, she's always been mopey about it, but then like she tries to put it to get used and kind of gets chastised for it,
Yes.
and you know. So I don't know, like that's just typical teenage girl writing in the mid-aughts, I guess. A lot of characters were like that, whether they were superpowered or not. So.
Do you have any highlights or lowlights?
Not really. Like I'll say, like the low light is just the footage of Siler on the feed. It's just so bad. It's just like I was bummed that Bob died, but then like when they brought in Mama Petrelli, I was happy. But I really like Steven Tobolowsky, and it was like kind of a shame what happened to him. I don't feel like that character arc was resolved.
Definitely.
Best as it could have been. So that's a low light.
I just thought of my highlight, but it's a cheese fest. But
I had his heroes.
But it's so funny. It's Siler walking down the street and the happy music playing underneath it. I completely,
With the bad like suburban CGI and his hair is like whipping in the wind.
And you can almost like, it's almost like Staying Alive at some point. Like you can kind of see his shoulders kind of bouncing around to the music while he's got the you know, he's all happy basically because he's got like the list of names of people who had powers under his shoulder, and he's just like, I'm gonna get some powers. I'm gonna get some powers. Yeah, I love it.
Oh god, yeah, that was really cheesy. They were really kind of trying to make Siler the focal point at this point.
Yeah.
And they were trying to find a good way and a good excuse to justify it. And it's just so evident in these first 13 episodes that it hurts. It hurt Heroes in my personal opinion. Like, okay, you can have like, okay, that's one board that's like dedicated to like Siler. I get it. But that's not the whole fandom, let me assure you.
What are you gonna give it as a grade?
You know what? C-.
Okay. For why?
Again, it's jam-packed, fast-paced, but like nothing's really happening.
Okay.
So it's just
I've
spinning our wheels with the formula, you know?
Yeah, I think I'm gonna have to go with like just a straight up C, because it's one of those things that like in hindsight, just nothing does really happen, like you said. But I remember watching it the first time and I was absolutely enthralled with it. But then again, I had little to no sleep, so I was just, and I had like 9 months of not being able to watch Heroes, so I was just excited to see anything. But it's like, the way I'm going to compare it to is watching Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. for the first time. You're hyped about, when I first watched it, I remember being really hyped about it and being like, oh look, there's so-and-so from the show. Oh look, there's Gunn from Angel. Oh look, they made a reference to like Captain America. And I remember all that. But then having to rewatch it again, I was like, this is actually quite poop. So that's what I'm going to compare this episode. And yes.
Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. I couldn't get through the first 3 episodes. Everybody goes, it gets better after episode 16. And I'm like, I'm not waiting for it.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So any discussion points you want to talk about? Like, I don't even care about Tracy's lane freezing ability. Like, we've seen it before. Siler had it before. Another person had it before. It's just kind of this exciting thing. I do like the evolution of it on later on.
Yeah.
But like, at this point, I don't really like it. I don't really care. I think it's lame.
Yeah, I agree with that. I've got bits of trivia, but, you know, it's nothing much. They've got the Angela's Dream that we see. They kind of had an extra kind of long version on the DVD, which got taken out, which included Monica and Micah being killed as well. And they kind of, in the dream, like, which we haven't talked about, it shows who we like. It shows who the big bads are, kind of, or at least who you think the big bads are. It's really weird because you think the big bads are going to be the villains from level 5. This dream gives you 4 villains who are like Tracy, Maury, Knox, and Adam, and that kind of doesn't pan out. It's really weird, but yeah.
Well, that was part of their original idea, and then they deviated from it.
What else? Steven Tobolowsky, who played Bob, suffered a broken neck during the hiatus between seasons 2 and 3, causing him to film his scenes by looking straight, with his head resting against the chair, hence why he does not move in the episode. And Robert Malden and Tracy Strauss discuss who will take the late Gerald Dickinson's successor, or who will take his chair. In reality, the junior senator of New York was Hillary Rodham Clinton, who was alive and well at the time of the episode, so yes.
Much to the chagrin of Republicans. Yes, Yank politics are the best. We have a long, drawn-out 2-year process, unlike the 6 weeks that the Brits have.
Yeah.
I am jealous of that, by the way. Also, this episode gets its name as a reference to The Sound of Thunder by Ray Bradbury. In the book, a time traveler kills butterflies in the past, and when he returns to the present, his world has become a nightmare of oppression. Maybe somebody stepped on butterflies in the past, and that's why we live in this shitty future, baby.
Are you sure that's where they got the name of the thing from? Are you sure it's not from the film? I think it's from the film. I'm going to take it as it's from the film. No, I'm joking.
I don't think so.
So we will next talk about the graphic novel, which is called Dreams Until Death, and it's basically
First name ever.
Yeah, it's basically a what-if scenario of Gail and Bianca. So it just shows them getting married, having kids, growing old together, basically. Because in the comics they were a couple and they were engaged to be married. So. And then it cuts to the shootout with Sylar, and obviously Sylar kills them, but Gael doesn't want Sylar to gain his fiance's power, so he says that he's the one with the power, and Sylar kills her, and then goes to chop off Gael's head, and realises that he was lying. So yeah.
Hold up. I'm going to have to stop you right there.
What?
I'm about to pull a Kanye again. I'm sorry. Okay. Sylar knows, he feels the power. We've seen that several times, so it's just whatever. The graphic novels tend to be a little wonky.
And there is no trivia from that, apart from the fact that in the novel, Claire's last name is spelt Bennett with 2 T's, which is a mistake that I have been making for a very long time.
Me too. It's that's the most common way that you spell it.
Yeah.
I mean, they might as well just said Bonet and just took out the other N while they were at it.
Oh. Like Lisa Bonet.
She's still hot after all this. Oh, sorry. Anyway, the story was by Christopher Zada and the art was by Aletha Martinez. So people who were working on the graphic novels in the in-between time, the hiatus time, are kind of slowly coming to an end.
Yeah.
Kind of in the next couple parts see returns to other people. And the Easter egg is a scene of Zachary Quinto, behind the scenes doing something.
So yes, that's so I got a bit of feedback from Juan Pablo X_X, and he just says, "Hi Primatech Files, I just want to say that Elle Bishop was one of my favourite characters. She was a victim of the company and in the background, but she was a very good person. He'd like them at least to give her a mention in Heroes Reborn." And he says, "Thanks for reading, greetings from Chile." So yeah, all the way to Chile is Primatech Files going.
Yes, we're so international. We're already international because we got English people too.
I know, right? The following people joined in our live tweets. They were either tweeting along, retweeting, or faving. I've got Super LM123, State2State T-Boy, Hunter LaRue, Pope_Melissa, Demetria Mills 3, English Idiot 101, and Soft_Guitar 60.
Looks like it's time for some shameless plugs and self-promotion. We'll start with the show contact info. We here at Primatech Files love listener feedback. If you would like to get a hold of us, we have a ton of ways. You can email us via primatechfiles@gmail.com. You can leave us a private message or interact with our posts over on facebook.com/primatechfiles. We live tweet 2 episodes per week every Saturday starting at 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. For more information, be sure to follow us on Twitter @PrimatechFiles. You can also find us on Clamor, Tumblr, and YouTube by simply searching for Primatech Files. If you enjoy this podcast, be sure to rate, review, and subscribe to us on iTunes. What's that? You don't have an iTunes account? That's okay. We're on a lot of podcatcher services such as Stitcher and SoundCloud. All you have to do is search for, you guessed it, Primatech Files. We're also on Libsyn, and if you want to follow our RSS feed there, all you have to do is go to primatechfiles.libsyn.com and bookmark the site to stay up to date with this podcast. Libsyn is spelled Libsyn, just in case you were wondering. We look forward to interacting with you.
If you love our podcast, be sure to check out Southgate Media Group's iTunes provider page to see a list of what other podcasts are hot and trending in our network. Or you can take that one step further and visit southgatemediagroup.com, where you can find a full list of our 80 plus podcasts, along with weekly blogs and information about all the hosts. With so many podcasts that cover everything from anime to wrestling, there's sure to be tons of podcasts that can interest you.
Now, our personal shameless plugs. Hey guys, you should know by now that you can find me on Twitter at Lilith Hellfire. If you have a Tumblr, be sure to check out it's lilithhellfire.tumblr.com. And of course, be sure to swing by my blog if you are a pop culture junkie or comic book geek at littlepopculturevulture.blogspot.com. I also host several other podcasts on the Southgate Media Group network. Some of them are The Flashpoint, Queen Consolidated, and Channel 52. So if you are into, obviously, DC comic book related stuff, be sure to check it out.
You can find my writings at tvbinges.com. It's a place for all your binge watching needs, and you can also create your own TV binge and we'll help promote it. We do a monthly binge watch, which you're more than welcome to join in. Just go to their Twitter at tvbinges just to find out more information. You can find me on Twitter at RickyJDiaz. That's RickyJDiaz, or Z if you're American.
Well, that's all we have for you on this installment of Prime Tech Files. We hope you've enjoyed our discussion of episode 302, The Butterfly Effect. Please remember to keep sending in those emails. Don't be afraid to leave us some comments on our Facebook post. And when you can, join in on the weekly live streams. Ricky, you know what to do.
Download the podcast, save the world.